Yeah, so day 8, um, decided to have a trim actually because, uh, you know, my solitude got ruined and the hobo look, there's no point having it anymore. I should really keep my beard long. The thing is, what people don't realise is, like, you know, I will one day keep it long like the Sikhs that you saw yesterday in the video. But the thing is, I can't keep my beard. Everyone always says grow my beard higher. But if you saw me with my beard thingy, I have big patches above here, which is why my beard's so low. Everyone's always moaning my beard's too low. But anything above here, I have massive patches. So it looks a complete mess. So the only way to get it neat is to do it like this. Here's our doggy. So it is actually day 8. I'm going to give him some carrots. Yeah? So here you go. And there you go. Carrots. Now this is kind of fitting actually, the black dog, because I'm going to be talking about a very controversial subject now. Why am I not Muslim? Because I am a free thinker, and I do believe if I'm not a Sikh just because I was born into a Sikh family. Obviously culturally I would have been, but I wouldn't have just stayed Sikh. That's not the kind of person I am. I would have become an atheist, an agnostic, or changed my faith if I didn't believe in it. I'm going to do another video on that because it's such a big, long subject. I've got to do it justice, so I'm not going to just kind of like do it quickly, because right now I'm kind of distracted and stuff. And so what I'm going to do instead, like I said, is describe why I'm didn't choose. Say, I mean, Christianity is pretty simple. No offense to Christians, although I believe Jesus Christ is an amazing role model. I don't personally believe. I think he was probably a prophet, not the son of God. So I can't be Christian. That's the thing. And I don't believe in the heaven and hell concept per se, which is another reason why I can't be Muslim either. So I don't really believe overall in the Abrahamic faiths. They're all kind of linked in the concept of heaven and hell. But Islam has, I mean, if Christianity didn't have that, and I believe Jesus was thinking, then it would be easier, more palatable for me to become Christian, or maybe being Jewish, but not. I couldn't become Muslim for so many reasons. One of them is that black dog there, you know, and these dogs here. I mean, I wouldn't be allowed to like have them in the house. So what am I going to do with that? So what I'm going to go over, first of all, I'm just going to clarify something. The Shias are out of this conversation. People are going to say, oh, you're causing division. No, there's something about the Shias, man. I like those dudes. Like, you know, there's something about their history and the thing that reminds me of Sikhs. I think they've gone through a lot of sacrifice, which makes them more kind of compassionate and empathetic because they're a minority within a big group. And there's a lot of, I know a lot of Sunnis are going to like be yipping and yaying, but there's a lot of similarities. When I speak to Shias, it's like, whoa. I have much more of a connection to them. Like, you know, I've never really had a problem with a Shia before. Maybe someone might come down and give me a headache, you know, just to prove that wrong. And their beards, man, are on point. Big up the Shias with their beards, man. Like, whenever I look at, they just look like they like come out of some kind of beard commercial. And so I need to take tips from that, how they do it. And also Sufis. Take Sufis out. I know Sufis are Sunnis, because I'm going to be concentrating more. I'm not a Sunni Muslim. Sufis are Sunnis, and but there's something about Sufism that, you know, it permeates through Sikhism as well in a way, because we've got so many Babbe Freed and, you know, all of these kind of Mardana and all of these people that are really big figures in Sikhism that are from the Sufi sect, from the Sufi sect. So I've got to take them out as well. So I'm just going to concentrate mainly on Sunni Islam. You know, remember, before I go on, I'm going to say that, you know, there's certain people that I'm really kind of liking. I love Abu Length. His version of, I don't know, maybe people don't think his version of Islam is the right Islam, or it's too soft. But I love his kind of more progressive style, and the fact that he can have a laugh about things. And you know, I hope I hope me talking about him doesn't ruin his cause, because I actually want to try and get him to debate Sargon of Akkad. Not debate, have a conversation with Sargon of Akkad at Speaker's Corner, because I kind of know Sargon of Akkad now. And so I really like Abu Lenth's version of Islam, and Saracen as well. Big up Saracen. I know a lot of people don't like him, but his version of Islam is something that I think, if it was practiced, you know, would be a really, really beautiful thing around the UK. It reminds me of the version of Islam that I grew up with my friends and stuff. Obviously, I love Shamsi as well. Well, I don't want to say love. Sorry, I didn't say love. Freudian slip, but I respect Shamsi a lot, not necessarily because I agree with his ideology, but I like the fact that he can conversate with you, and his little crew, I know there's a little bit of controversy about them, but his little crew, yeah, just have some aura about them that, you know, you look at them and you're like, wow man, you want to like kind of replicate that. And that's what a Muslim should be, I think, you know, like when you see them, you want to be like them. But there's a lot of Muslims that see, I just think, oh my God, it put me off so badly. And so this is, you know, one of the biggest problems, I think, when you're looking at trying to kind of win over myself. I know you don't care anyway. Abu Talha as well, he's saying that I'm an Islamophobe and that I've been criticising Muhammad and Allah. The thing is, I don't actually, if anyone can find any videos of me criticising Muhammad and Allah per se, I'd be interested, because I don't think I can't remember doing that. Because I don't really see the point in criticising theology. Like, you know, I'm more of a person that wants to criticise, because the thing is, obviously, one of the main reasons I can't become Muslim is the concept of the Abrahamic faiths in terms of heaven and hell is completely different from the Dharmic faiths. The Dharmic faiths, it's like, you know, a Sikh was at Speaker's Corner and he was trying to explain how we see God. Stop that bullet. How the Dharmic faiths see God. And it's like two different species talking. The people from the Abrahamic faith just cannot understand the concept. It's completely alien to them. Yeah, when we say the oneness of God, God is everywhere. To them, they have a vision of God being up there. It's like separated from us, and He's just up there. And there's the concept of hell as well in the Abraham. This is across the board with the Abrahamic faith, which is why I could never be Christian, Jew, or Muslim. And the kind of concept of hell as well is just, for me, the Abrahamic faith's version of hell and the version of God is a very unforgiving God to the non-believers or to people that are sin. And so you've only really got one chance, and if you mess up, you know, you're pretty much in hellfire for a certain amount of time or forever, depending on what particular denomination of Christianity or Islam or whatever you go for. And so I can't, you know, if a God is so merciful, I can't believe He'd be like the Abrahamic faith's God. I hope He's not, because, you know, that's a very unforgiving God. And, you know, I think reincarnation, the concept of it's too complicated to go into about reincarnation. One day I will. But the concept of reincarnation is almost like a God's giving you a second chance, third chance, fourth chance. But, you know, it's a different type of punishment, you know, going through life cycles of trying to get back to that, trying to get back to God, and through different life cycles. So it's if I made a mistake there, any Sikhs, don't start crying. Can you please just explain? I prefer people to explain rather than start bitching and whining all the time. So, you know, that's the main reason, yeah, overall why I can't be part of any of the Abrahamic faiths. The concepts of heaven and hell is not something that I can get my head around. Now, there's with Islam, it goes on another level of like why I couldn't be. Remember Sunni Islam especially. The Shia version is more palatable for me, and Sufism is, I probably think, is the real Islam, if I'm being honest with you. Not to troll or anything, I just think it is. And so, obviously, I mean, one thing is this, like the dogs. I don't believe that a dog, yeah, would stop an angel from coming in the house. So that's strike one. These are going to be kind of trivial, these parts. First, I'll get them out of the way. Secondly, I'm an artist. And I love drawing, I love art, I love sculptures, obviously I don't believe in idolatry, but I do believe that, you know, making a sculpture is fine. I mean, I don't want to do a Dawa man and make a snowman without a head. That's kind of pointless, isn't it? It's like, what do you want to do with it? It just look like a giant potato. So I can't see the point of that. Like, it's ridiculous. It destroys the arts in the sense that, you know, if you can't draw the face or animals or living beings, it kind of destroys all my my livelihood as well. So I could never give that, because it's so part of my psyche, part of me. So that's another reason. Obviously, it gets more complicated. The other thing is I was a vegan, I was a vegetarian, and so I'm against any kind of animal cruelty. And for me, all eating meat and dairy is wrong, even though I eat a little bit of dairy. But I know what I'm doing is wrong. I'm going to change that. But what it is the halal, kosher, and the factory farming, they're all evil. Yeah, they're all evil, but they're not all equally as bad. So, although I hate factory farming, and I think they should shut that down, and these people doing it need to be locked up. But you do have a little bit. I mean, when you're looking at halal, I don't agree with that kind of stuff. The way they're doing it. I mean, Sikhs, they have some of them have their own slaughter method, which I completely disagree with as well. So when I'm talking about it's called Jatka, I don't agree with that stuff. I think it's just as bad as the rest of them. So anyone say that Jatka is better, no, to me it's not. They're all just as bad. All of them are animal cruelty. You're killing an animal just for the sake of eating it. And so that's another thing. Yeah, I can't really go too much into detail about each one. Then you have the mother of all bad ideas, in my opinion, sorry guys, is Sharia, the penal code. Before I go on, I need to explain something. I'm very conservative in my views, in the sense that I agree that I don't agree with homosexuality. I believe in traditional values about getting married and having kids. Although I haven't, I do think that that's the way you sustain a population and create a productive society. I believe in modesty, like women dressing modest and behaving modestly. I believe that adultery is wrong, and all of the sins that you will see in Islam as being sinful. I agree, but the difference is this: I don't agree that man should punish another man for this, or woman. I think God's powerful enough to decide what the punishment is. So, although I don't agree with homosexuality, I would fight for someone's right to be homosexual. And if they want to be homosexual, that's their business. It's not my business. God will decide how sinful it is, because I think everyone sins. So, Sharia for me is like really, 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 really terrible. This is why I think if Sharia was ever implemented, I'm talking of the penal. Not all of Sharia is bad. There's parts of it obviously that are good. You can talk about stuff like the way they look after the family and the way they distribute the wealth and all of this. Yeah, there's good in it, but there's no point it being good 90% and then there's 10% that is absolutely atrocious and people are dying over it. So if they took out these penal codes about executing gays, adulterers by stoning. Remember I said stones are not freaking good to use, man. Like, I want to put some stones here for decoration, but I don't want blood on the stone, do I? So I don't want bloody stones, people using it to bash people's heads in. And so, I can strongly disagree with this. And also, obviously I'm a free speech absolutist, but Islam has very strict blasphemy laws. You can't criticize the religion or Muhammad or anything like that, otherwise you're going to be either arrested or even executed. So I can't agree with that kind of madness. Then you have on top the most unbelievably crazy. If you was to say to me, what is the #1 problem I have with Islam? Apostasy. Now let me explain this. I've had so many conversations about apostasy and people go mad when I mention this. What I say to them is, in the Quran it says there's no compulsion in religion. Yeah, I understand that's about joining the religion. But if you join a religion but you can't leave, there is a compulsion, because you cannot leave. Once you're in, you're in. And so there's this crazy kind of thing, and this is why I have a bigger problem with the al-Bukhari hadiths. I think the al-Bukhari hadiths are probably the biggest problem within Islam. I think that's why Shia Islam isn't so bad, because they don't follow all of those doctrines. And so you have this situation like, I've had so many conversations where people go to me, oh, well, it's treasonous, it's sedition. Hold on. If it's treasonous and sedition to leave Islam, you need to prove this. How is leaving Islam detrimental to the state or the safety of its citizens? Yeah, normally, like someone like Snowden, who disclosed, although I agree with him doing it, he disclosed national security information that was detrimental to the state. So that you can say that is treasonous. Now, the last time I looked, the only documents that we have in Islam are the hadiths and the Quran. And from what I can see, they're all available everywhere. So what secret information is going to be detrimental to the state? Nothing. Yeah, nothing's detrimental to the state. The only thing is you're scared that someone's going to leave and that, that person is going to start bad-mouthing your faith and then putting doubts into other people's minds, and so your faith is so weak, it's going to crumble like a ton of bricks. If you were so secure about your faith, you wouldn't care what people said. You just wouldn't. You'd be like, all right, say it, big deal, walk off, leave the religion, who cares? So that's like, you know, one of the biggest issues. I wish that apostasy law could be just taken out, and I probably would stop talking about Islam, because, and people are going to say, oh, well, it's not in the UK, it's not being implemented, it has to, shut up. At the end of the day, yeah, it has been implemented in the past, it could be implemented in the future, and it is implemented in some countries with blasphemy laws. There's a lady in Pakistan that's been under, a Christian lady, and has been in prison for 6 years for just being accused of saying something against Muhammad. Are you crazy? Come on, man. How thin-skinned are you that you can't take no criticism? I always say to people that, you know, Islam has put a particular level of kind of investigate, like a level upon itself. It's actually giving itself a massive problem, and what it's done is like it's saying to the world, oh, my religion is perfect, Muhammad is perfect, find a fault. And then people are looking and there's thousands of faults all over the place, and then people are getting angry and wetting their panties and crying that we found it. It's like, don't say something's perfect, yeah, if you can't take the heat afterwards when people start looking into it. This is the difference between Islam and different religions. Why Islam is criticized so much is because you put a criteria on it saying it's perfect. I'll give you an example. My artwork, yeah, so let's talk about my artwork. If I said, if I was to then exhibit my artwork in the park in Speaker's Corner and just put my drawing up for everyone to look at, yeah, and don't give no requirements, and what will happen is, like, people walk past and they'll look at it and they'll probably just go, oh, it's a nice drawing, oh, well, fair enough. But now if I put a sign on there saying, oh, this drawing is perfect, yeah, find a fault, what do you think's going to happen? Every single person that comes past, yeah, nearly 99% will start looking at the fault and not at the drawing. And this is what Islam has done to itself. It's put a level of a test on itself that is, you know, unbelievably crazy and too hard, never going to be able to kind of be fulfilled. You know, you just look, I'm not going to go into it, but you just look at Muhammad's life. It's not perfect. Everyone knows that. Even Muslims know that. And then you look at Islam in itself, it's not perfect. There's contradictions all over the place. You know, this is why you've got so many sects, so many divisions, and so much problems within Islam itself, because everyone's got a different opinion. You know, I'm not going to argue whether Islam is from God or not from God. That's not for me. I can tell you that it's not for me. You know, there's things in it I like around 70%. But if that 30% that's left over is really, really terrible, then I can't be I can't be part of that faith. I'm also against, and this is going to sound kind of controversial, because I'm always badgering Deep about his circumcision. But even before Islam, and it's not got nothing to do with Islam, when I'm totally against circumcisions. I think it's a barbaric act. I'll go into different videos as to why, and it's not to do with Islam. It's just, I think it's an evil crime against boys, and it's a terrible, terrible, terrible thing to do to a little child. And it's mutilation, in my opinion, not circumcision. And so that's another reason why I couldn't become Muslim, because you've got to have a circumcision. So, you know, there's so many things I could go down. I've probably forgotten stuff, but, you know, little things just keep piling on top. And I'm talking about more Sunni Islam. Obviously, you know, I meet a lot of Sunnis that are nice. Remember, I grew up with Muslims. I mean, like I said, I grew up with up to the age of 18, all of my friends. And if anyone wants to kind of look into that, hopefully somebody that's watching this video is a friend of mine, can maybe type on there, that's true. Because from 0 to 18, I had no Sikh friends that I can recall. And so all of my mates are Muslims, and they were freaking great, man. Like, I don't know what happened after. That generation in the 80s, like, in terms of integration, had a really good sweet spot about having their faith, by not ramming it down people's throats. I think one of the other things that, you know, kind of annoys me all the time is that in the past, when I was growing up, Muslims were Muslims, but they didn't ram their faith down your throat. And so you'd have a situation like, you know, if it was Diwali, they'll come on, happy Diwali, bro.
The Eid, I say happy Eid. They said, do you want to come out for Eid? I'm like, yeah, I can't come. Sometimes I would. And then it hit like the 90s, and God knows what happened. Like you can't even say happy Diwali anymore. It's shut. You can't say happy Christmas. They'll freaking go crazy. You can't, do things like this, and that kind of stuff is problematic. And what I find is that a lot of Muslims, not most, maybe 50%, every time you talk about religion, they just want to do dawah on you. It's very annoying. It's like they're constantly on a dawah mode. I mean, Ali Diva obviously is just a dawah machine. That's malfunctioned. I'm going to say it's malfunctioned because he's not actually doing dawah properly. He's actually doing anti-dawah. He's unconverting people. he's like a detriment to Islam. Poor Saeed's like his little sidekick or sideman, getting abused all the time like Manuel. I'm going to save him. I'll keep on saying that. That's my mission in life. To save Saeed, just to get him out of that terrible Ali Diva situation. So yeah, I'm gonna still be doing videos when I go back. If I think of it, yeah, I'm still gonna be doing videos, but obviously not here. I'll be doing stuff like maybe drawing, and then talking as I'm drawing or stuff like that. So yeah, that's just some of the stuff that reason why I couldn't become Muslim. And also, like, it seems like, apart from people like Abu Length and a couple of other people, when Muslims become quite religious, they kind of have a humour lobotomy. And it just goes. It's like, alright, you can't have a joke with them anymore. You say anything, especially about religion, like, I'm quite un-PC. So I like to have jokes about silly stuff. And if I did it, I might be like stoned to death. So I'm kind of scared, like, oh, I better not say that, better not say that. And I'm always making jokes about like Sikhs as well. And not about the religion per se, but just about Sikhs generally. So yeah, so I'm going to do a video as to why I'm Sikh in the future, but I'm going to make sure I need to take time to do that one. I've got to give time to the Sikh faith. It's the Ferrari. I always say that Sikhism is like the McLaren F1s of faiths, and Islam is more. It's still a different route because we believe in different routes to God, but it's more of a kind of like a Volkswagen. You'll get there, but not in style and not so fast. So maybe you want to jump in the McLaren F1 with me, and we can kind of go in style. So if a Saeed or Ali Diva and them want to come over to our side, we'll show you in style. So yeah, that's some of the reasons why. If I think of anything more, maybe I'll go into depth about the reasons, but just generally, Abrahamic faiths for me are not all of them, all three, Christianity, Judaism and Islam, all have a similar concept of heaven and hell. Oh, the only thing is in Islam, they have a wicked heaven though. Bloody hell, man. I'd love to go to that heaven. I'm not going to lie. If I thought it was real, I'd probably convert and go, alright, got all those 72 virgins, that rivers of wine. I'd be like swimming in it, like a dolphin, all over the place, drinking it. And it says you can have whatever you want. I'd probably get myself like a giant PlayStation that I can play 24 hours a day. I'd actually have dogs in heaven as well, so I don't know if they're allowed. Are they allowed? Just write down if you're allowed. Also in heaven, I'd probably go mad and have like a chocolate mountain or something like that. I can just keep on eating. And obviously the 72 virgins, 72 virgins and 72 virgins. And I wonder what the women get though. That's always confused me, man. I'm like, what do the women get? Do they get 72 men, or is it that they just husbands thingy? I never understood what women get. Can Muslims explain to me, what do women get? If a man gets 72 virgins and eternal kind of like pleasure like that, what does a woman get? Oh well, quite interesting concept. It's great for men though. Look your neck, man. Great for men. It's like paradise up there. I'll be gutted if I'm wrong. I'll be like, damn, let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Maybe Ali Diva and Saeed will be standing there next to, up there going, no, you're not allowed in, you kafar. You dirty kafar, get out. Anyway, say bye-bye to Bullet and Gucci. They're happy. Look, their towels, his towels, man. Anyway, take care.